So one of the points that I've been catching a couple gems from you is, as black men, how is your art process or the everything that you've been doing in your career been healing for you, specifically as a black man? Because you talked about the environments that you're from, and that's the part that I'm relating to the most. So that's why I want you to tell us a little bit more about yourself in that manner. Like, how are you using your art to heal from what you've been describing?
I think one of the things with black men is, one of the healing is revealing and telling the truth about the darkness that we don't want to talk about.
We always talk about telling the truth and being real, but
it's hard though.
It don't seem like people are really telling the truth and keeping it as real as you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. You know, one of the poems I'm telling them, you know, like when I was in foster care, you know, my adoption papers said that I was eating the crayons. You know what I mean? So like, no man wants to come out and just talk about how dirty his house was. Like, that ain't gonna get no buzz. Like, you know what I mean? So imagine you as a man gotta fight between what the community is doing, with your images, and then you trying to portray that. So for me, I think healing comes through the vulnerability, telling the truth about kinda what really happened to you, when most men don't really want to do that. That's not really what we trying to do, you know what I mean?
I heard this new phrase, it's like on the internet, right? It says, they ask young ladies, they say, what do they tell you about boys? And then they say, you're supposed to stay away from the boys. And then they ask, what are you supposed to teach your sons? And they say, to cater to girls. So it's so interesting, it's like most men are raised to be like feared or a utility. Talk about how some days where it's like we don't always feel involved in society or humanity or the things going on. That's why we probably be, like you said, I guess trying to make a fake vibe or like a fake identity.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny how you said the utility part, because yeah, like,
what do you do? Like,
if you not,
what do you do?
If you don't, like you said, depending on where you from, if you don't have no money, you're not doing nothing with yourself, no one sees you. As a man, if you don't have money, you don't do anything important, or you don't have no buzz, like, you're just another person. And see, that type of thing, especially for this city, is a problem, because a lot of black men feel ignored. And when they feel ignored, then they gotta do things to get attention. And see, okay, so the social media thing ain't working out, and the music ain't working out.
Funny, I can't TikTok.
I can't dance. So, but my mans and them, we wanna show that we do have a name, that somebody sees me, because my parent never see me, my family never see me, but the streets, they see me. And when I
come,
it's over. They already know my name. So somehow, some way, people are looking for an identity with a name, and so we got to figure out how, as a black man, like you said, how do you reveal that? How do you help people understand that they are being seen? You know what I mean? You could literally go anywhere in the city, and for miles, if you just go down, no one will say nothing to you.
Facts.
Philly, you can get on a bus and sit there like the whole joint, nobody will say nothing to you. Yeah. Then you get off the bus, walk down City Hall, nobody still say nothing to you. Then you get to your crib, depending on your lifestyle, your family, if they fucked up, they not saying nothing to you either.
Wow.
So you done walked around literally hundreds of people throughout one day in Philly or wherever you live at, and nobody has acknowledged you one time. And you think that black men are going to just not express themselves with that type of ignorance or that type of absence? Can't do that. And so my job is just to inform people of, what's happening, how it's happening, and how to somehow, create a belief system for that black man that he's definitely going to speak to you. So when you see people committing violence, doing things, don't act surprised, because somebody knows him. Somebody understands how he was built, and somebody should have intervened with that young man when he was 11. And now he's 16 with a weapon, and it's too late, because we had 5 years to intervene, or we had years to try to help that black man with the struggles he had.
So, like, when you really kind of just open my mind up to a dynamic that I never really thought of, where it's like, I'll be so concerned with saying something to people, but it's like, it seems like don't nobody want to really talk anyway, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'd be scared to just walk up to people, not out of like some violence or something. It's like almost like social anxiety. So I get what you're saying. It's like we need to learn how to just be more
acknowledge.
Present. Yeah, just be more present in your day to day. You know, you can, man, you really kind of just, I don't want to make you your energy. You kind of talking to me right now.
But that's real though, right? You ain't even think about how you can go through the whole and no acknowledgement.
So when you leave here today, right, and you make the efforts towards what you do, what's something that you're promoting or you're putting out in the world? Like, you got any products, services? Like, what can people do when they want to work with you, like for your career and your?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Reach out to me at ambitionthepoet.com and definitely, Instagram and all that to reach out to me. The thing we need to promote though is just like, it don't necessarily got to be love, but just like a respect for the brethren next to you, like just that simple. And for the artist community, more collaboration, and at the same time though, a respect for what's going on in the community. You can't do a whole showcase about shooting people, robbing people, and it's actually happening. You're creating, and I don't think people understand how powerful their mouth is, but when you speak, that's energy. And so when you speak in that energy, you're putting that energy out not only to your community, but around you. And so I think people need to get back to respecting what they saying out their mouth. If you storytelling, simple.
Yeah, that's something you can control.
That's easy. You know what I'm saying? Comes out your mouth, be careful. If you're telling a story, if you're saying something that happened to you, that's one thing. But if you got a group of 5, you're all saying the same thing, and now you're trying to understand the city crazy. Yeah. We all talking about it. We all rapping it. Then we speaking about it. Then we also promoting it.
So when is it gonna? It's gonna come to doing it, right? That's
when you create that type of environment. Don't be surprised because you're creating something. And I think we need to, as artists, understand that we got too much power in our gifting just to, promote something that can end our lives, when we can uplift and we can get money and we can support each other in a positive way without it being weird. You know what I mean? So we ain't gotta hug each other, but we can make good music together, right? And let it be hot, like, oh yeah, we did this music together, but it don't feel weird. You know what I mean? We still supporting each other, and we being mindful that we can't talk about certain things because it's actually happening right now. So we gotta chill, we gotta do it differently. So
what didn't I ask you? What's, like, before we end this, right? What's the thing when I get interviewed or when I talk to people? What's the thing? Like, you didn't even ask me about, this is what I do. What's the thing I forgot to talk to you about that you wanna inform me?
I think foster children are not just people that's for kids like me. We're not just people that's been thrown into the system and forgotten about. That we actually do have a voice. That we are in your community. And there's foster children on your block. There's foster children in the suburbs where I ended up at. There's foster kids.
It's the hood.
They everywhere. But some of y'all are also foster children. Y'all don't even know it. There's something called kinship care. So if you was not raised by your mom, if you was not raised by your dad, if you was raised by your aunt, that's kinship care. If you was raised by your grandmom, that's kinship care. That's also under the foster care umbrella. So a lot of us have been raised by family members who stepped in and became angels to us and saved our lives. Those people should be talked about, and those stories are not told. So a lot of us have come from houses where our aunt or grandmom had to come save us. And one thing I will say before I go is I'm just thankful for the stranger that helped me. I was in the middle of Nicetown, and I'm telling you right now, if I would have stayed in Philly, I would have died. There was no way. There was nobody coming to help me. And this lady from West Oak Lane decided to become my foster parent, which they call resource parent now. So a perfect stranger from a different part of the city saved some dusty North Philly kid. Why? That don't even make sense. And so perfect stranger could come save a kid in Philly, and we all from Philly. The people who saved me are from Philly, and my parents is from Philly. Somebody gave up because they went through a lot. Somebody from Philly saved me. So if there's something called the perfect stranger in Philly that saved me, how come we not giving that back? So there's no way I can go out in Philly and not show the same love and respect when somebody saved my life. It was over for me. And so I hope that we ain't got to save people's lives, but at least somebody can step in and help somebody else out in the city, a complete stranger, because they need it. You know what I mean? They need your help. And it's not even like you got to be all weird with it, but a perfect stranger helped me. And so I hope one day, as a perfect stranger, you help somebody else. So that's it.
Yeah, no shit. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to send this out to everybody I know, and I hope y'all do the same thing. And leave comments too. Let us know where you from and what you've been through. What's up, man?
All right.